Somewhere right now, a nuclear submarine is moving through water you'll never see, and no one is telling you where. A blood moon rose over Jerusalem on a feast day the ancient prophets named 3,000 years ago. And it happened again. And again. Coincidence stopped explaining this a long time ago. Your phone knows where you slept last night. It knows what you searched at 2 a.m. It knows your face, your voice, your fingerprint. And somewhere, a system is being built that decides what you're allowed to buy and what you're not. These are not warnings for someday. These are happening while you watch this video. And by the time we get to sign 3, you may never look at your own phone the same way again. Sign 1. Wars and rumors of wars. That's the phrase you've heard 100 times. But nobody warned you it would look like this. Not soldiers in trenches. Code. A blackout in a city of 10 million because someone, somewhere, pressed a button from a laptop on the other side of the planet. No army crossed a border. No shot was fired. And still, a nation went dark. Right now, in the South China Sea, vessels are testing how far they can push before the world reacts. Not war, not peace. Something in between that has no name yet. And history shows us that's exactly the space where the worst decisions get made. Thousands of nuclear warheads sit ready across the globe at this exact moment. Not in a museum. Not in the past. Right now, while you're watching this, it only takes one mistake. One misread signal. One system glitch. One commander who hesitates half a second too long to end everything you know. And here's what almost nobody says out loud. The war that started in Eastern Europe in the early 2020s. It never really ended. It just stopped being the headline. It's still moving underneath everything. Funding, alliances, resentments, like a fire that went underground instead of going out. If that's not the birth pang Scripture warned about, what is it? And if the wars we already see are only the beginning, what does the next stage look like? Sign 2. Jerusalem, 6 square miles, the most fought over ground on earth. Under that ground sits a mount that 3 religions claim as their own, and one side is quietly preparing to rebuild what was destroyed 2,000 years ago. Not in theory. Materials exist. Plans exist. People are waiting for the moment. Every world leader who stands at a podium and says, peace and security in that region is buying time, not peace. And if you know your Scripture, you know exactly what that phrase is supposed to precede. Alliances are shifting overnight. Old enemies shaking hands for the first time in generations. Old friends turning their backs without warning. Nations that once called each other enemies are suddenly standing shoulder to shoulder. And nobody in the mainstream headlines is asking the real question. What are they preparing for, together? Because a coalition doesn't form for peace. A coalition forms before something. And while the cameras focus on the diplomats and the handshakes, something quieter is happening in the background. The land itself is being divided, negotiated, argued over, piece by piece, meter by meter. Ancient words spoke of a dividing of the land in the last days. Look at a map of that region today and tell me that doesn't sound familiar. So who is really pulling the strings behind that podium? And when the next handshake happens on camera, will you recognize what it actually means? Sign 3. You already carry it, right now, in your pocket. The mark isn't a chip in your hand, not yet. It's your face unlocking your phone 40 times a day. It's the camera at the airport that already knows who you are before you show a single document. It's your bank account that can be frozen, flagged, or emptied with one keystroke from someone you'll never meet. Cash is disappearing. Quietly. Store by store, country by country. For your convenience. And every digital transaction leaves a trail that never disappears. A permanent record of everywhere you've been and everything you've bought. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. If a system decided tomorrow that you couldn't buy bread, would you even know it happened? Or would it just look like a temporary error, a processing issue, something you'd shrug off and try again later, until later never comes? The technology for total control isn't coming. It's already built. It's sitting in your hand. The only question left is who ends up holding the switch. The Convergence. 3 signs, not scattered across centuries, converging in the same decade you are alive to witness. Wars without borders. A holy city being quietly divided. A world being wired for total control. One convenience at a time. Scripture never gave us a date. It gave us a pattern. And patterns don't ask for permission before they complete themselves. So here's the question nobody wants to sit with. If these 3 signs are already this far along, what does further along even look like? And how would you know if you were already living inside it? Would you notice the moment it happened? Or would it just feel like today? So ask yourself right now, before you scroll to the next video, if tonight was the night, would you be ready? Or would you still be waiting for a clearer sign than the ones already standing in front of you? Say it in the comments. I'm watching. I'm awake. Then send this to someone who's still asleep.